No, I'm going to be right in there.
Somebody's still making money off of it.
Vipi, ¿por qué no se sienta aquí ahora? Disculpo.
Oh, look, the
Eddie!
Oh my God, look who's here. Benny. Eddie, I fired him. Eddie, I fired Poopy, I fired.
I really appreciate it. And that was that day. I was born. Yeah, it's all good, man. They got me up there now.
Can I have that?
Came out with a
I can go up this day.
Yeah. She never told me either.
Thank you so much.
I doubt it.
Photo montage, right?
¿Esto trabaja? Oye, parece que sí, ¿verdad? Buenas noches a todos. Yo soy el señor Ángel Rubén Rodríguez Cintrón Rivera Olivera. Para que sepan, yo soy todo porque yo soy boricua de la cepa, de allá de Naranjito, Puerto Rico. Y me gusta usar tu nombre. Yeah, my name is Angel Ruben Rodriguez Cintrón Rivera Olivera, and I'm your host for tonight, the creator of the Living Legend Tributes. We started these tributes at the Point CDC. How many people are familiar with the Point? Yeah. The work that we've done there for many years since 1994. And we started, the first tribute was Little Rey Romero, Jose Bujuman Sr., and on and on. I did about 40 of them. But tonight is a special night. Juan, ¿cómo está? Bueno, hay mucha gente que conozco aquí. En todo caso, the Bronx Music Heritage Center. Women's Housing Economic Development Corporation came to me a few months ago, maybe 4 months ago, 5 months ago, Bill Eduardo, Nancy Beelam, and these folks, and said, Angel, you know, we want to bring these living legislatures back, the ones that you guys were doing at the Point, CDC. And we just did one, I think a month ago, for Jean Golden, which was really great. I thank you, Alvaro, and Pregones. Now, the Bronx Music Heritage Center is going to be a great place to be. Hi, Nancy. And you know, it's going to have a performance space. I think we broke ground already. I've seen the site, been there, took pictures with Bill, and it's going to be a beautiful place. It's going to be a performance space. It's going to be a residential building for retired musicians, living workspace, and also a high school. Am I right, Nancy? And a performing arts high school. And you know, I think this is going to bring back the Bronx you know, that years ago, and there's a lot of people my age or maybe even older that know that there was 65 clubs or more in the Bronx that you can go dancing to. We have none today. There's not one. Okay, and in a community setting like this, you know, we need to be aware of these things. You know, we need to come back and celebrate our own, like we're going to celebrate Gilberto Jr. tonight. Right? We're going to celebrate our own, but at the same time, we want to be able to tell folks and say, look, we need your help. Now, tonight was a great night because those tickets didn't cost that much, right? But what I want you to take home, Eddie Montalvo, what I want you to take home with you tonight is that if we don't come together, I can't do it alone. You know, Nancy Bieberman can't do it alone. You know, we need to come together. We need to come together and think about these things. So if you know a child that has the sparkle in his eyes and wants to learn, man, congas, timbales, piano, lo que sea, you know, take them to a place, bring them. You know, the Bronx Music Heritage Center is going to be a great place. Not only all those things that I mentioned that are going to be there, but it's also going to be a museum. You know, I'm one person that I'm going to give a lot of my stuff that I have, my archives, to this place when it's built. You know, and so I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. And I'm excited about tonight. So I'm not going to talk too much about it. Me gusta hablar mucho, you know. I just want to completely acknowledge Gilberto's family. Please stand up, please. Okay, I think I said enough, right? We want to get the ball rolling, Mr. Johnny Pacheco. I mean, there's so many people here. Boogaloo, man. Boogaloo Blues right there, man. Jehová. Tanta gente que está aquí, qué linda esta cara, man. Como se llama Rivera, la carita de mi gente negra. Okay, vamos para encima. The next person I'm going to bring out is host of the radio show, Ramon Rodriguez. I gotta, yeah, you know, I gotta say names, you know, because it's a real Ramon Rodriguez. You know, I want to bring out, ¿dónde tú estabas cuando yo llamé a Johnny Colón?
Teacher.
You know what? You're right, Johnny Colón, man. You know what? I'm sorry about that. You know what? Putting these events together is so much, and people pulling from all sides and stuff like that, but here we are. And the only thing that can be stopped is the present time. Please forgive me, Mr. Johnny Colón. Please forgive me. ¿Sabes que a los 57 se me va la mente ya? Se me olvidan las cosas. What is commercial? That's my lady right there. Joanne, that's a little dry. Ok, vamos para encima, porque sigo hablando y sigo mencionando nombres y no acabo. The next person I want to bring on is a radio personality who's in the forefront, along with a lot of other folks on radio that push this music, that push your local musicians, you know, not like those other stations that I don't want to mention, but you know, WBAI is in the forefront of all our music. And I want to bring out Mr. Ibrahim Gonzalez from Radio Libre.
But I gotta tell you, he cooks a mean arroz con gandules. I want to thank everybody for coming out, and Clara, you're looking more beautiful than ever. This is a family event. Somos familia here. And I'm what I would call el hijo del barrio y el sobrino del Bronx. I grew up in Spanish Harlem. And then I used to take the 3rd Avenue L into the Bronx. And it was in my uncle's house, Titi Lidia y Dio Santos' apartment on Washington Avenue, when there were more houses along that street. And he was the first one in the family to have a hi-fi system, and we would listen to the music of Cortijo, Ismael Rivera, Tito Puente, Tito Rodriguez, Machito, Arsenio Rodriguez, and on and on. It's this milieu of culture and musicianship that we grew up listening to all of the greats that laid down the foundation, that made it possible for a person like myself to even begin to dream about being on the radio. I would listen to those dark baritone tones of Symphony Sid and the tenor voice of Dick Ricardo Sugar on the FM radio. And they were playing our music. These guys weren't even Latino, but they wore it very proudly. And there's a lot of people in the culture that are honorary Latinos. But let's get to the roots. Aquí we're honoring a man, son of the Bronx, un Boricua, a New Yorican through and through. Somebody that through his generosity of character, a good family man, and a solid friend. And I've met some of his friends for the first time, some of the ones that I haven't known. And we all share the same thing. Man's an upstanding human being. He not only makes good music, but he also makes the world a better place for humanity. Gilberto Pulpo Colón Jr., back in the 70s, started with bands the likes of La Diferente, La Sociedad, Fuerza Brutal, and his reputation as a pianist carried him to not only the Cuchifrito circuit, which we all know was the way that musicians had to struggle in order to make a living, but in those days, a good musician would be gigging 5, 6, 7 days a week. And Pulpo was one of those musicians that wouldn't turn down a gig. No gig too big or too small for him to play. It was through his diligence and his pianistic abilities and the force of his wonderful personality also that one of our great stars, Hector Lavoe, approached him to say, I want you on my gig. In 1975, he met Hector, and it was in 1977 that they recorded Comedia, his first debut album with Hector Lavoe. The rest is history. Pulpo played with Hector, not only that, but was promoted to be musical director and toured Central America, the Caribbean, South America, and the world with Hector Lavoe. Tonight, I want to say that we are honoring a living legend, and we're giving him an award en vida. Ladies and gentlemen, let's put together the strongest, warmest welcome for Pulpo Gilberto Colón. There's a lot of love in this room for you. But before we get started, are there any questions? No, I'm just kidding. Pulpo, we have a surprise for you. Mr. Angel Teotimbales Rodriguez Sr. has told me to introduce the surprise, and then I'm going to talk a little bit more about it. But I want everyone to pay attention to the screen, because this special video was put together by some very special people in your life that I'll mention after the video. So without further ado, can we bring down the house lights and get this video rolling, please? Thank you.
Y con ustedes, de la perla del ron, en el piano, el Pulpo.
Gilberto to me is a true mentor, good friend and leader within the music industry. Pulpo, congratulations, te quiero mucho. Love you, bro.
Wow, what can I say about Pulpo? Pulpo's actually been one of my mentors, man. Growing up, I used to listen to him. So Pulpo to me, he stays in contact with me. He's like a father, a mentor, and also a
Pulpo's my mentor. He is my older brother. He is one of my closest friends. You know, the locker room, I love the man deeply, and I know he's going to be there for the rest of my life. Good consejero.
Pulpo to me is a mentor, father figure, and someone who was willing to give me the opportunity to showcase my talent. To this day, I still don't know how to do it. I asked him to do my talent. Congratulations. I couldn't be any more happier that you invited me to share the stage with you on your day. Thank you.
Grupo not only a fantastic piano player in the street, but he's an older brother to me. A man who gave me a lot of advice in his business, and I can reach out to him not only from a personal level, but also on the business aspect as well. And it's just a big brother. Back in like the mid-90s, around like early mid-90s when I started the music scene professionally, Gilberto was a piano player. I never met him before. I knew of him, so I was kind of like, you know, intimidated from him being there. And then of course he has to come to me at the end and says, I gotta tell you something. Always with a little story, I got a little something to say. And he told me a little inside scoop of how the piano and the timbal bell and the bells sync together to make it lock. And I gotta say thank you to him, you know, because I listen to him not only as who he is as a piano player, but also, you know, making me advance in what I am today. And I thank him a lot.
Gilberto I met when I was about 14 years old at the Johnny Colon Music School. I don't know, we hit it off right away. You know, his personality, you know, there was something that just, you know, just something that clicked. You know, we just hit it off, you know, and I knew, you know, he was a legend, you know, he was a bandolera. And you know, that he was working there at the school, you know, we had to go. Basically, I've known him all my career. You know, he's been like a brother, basically to me. Big brother. I got a lot of love for him, admiration for, you know, his accomplishment. I don't know, man, somebody that, you know, I just love being around him. He's a barrel of laughs. I just love the guy, you know. Gilberto, I love you, and you know it, all right? Congratulations. You can snip it there.
To me is a young man who has never sold out his integrity, his personal integrity, or his integrity for the music. He is 100% real. He tells you exactly who he is, what he is, how he feels. Pulls no punches. Knows what his value is, and knows what he brings to, the joy he brings to people through his playing. He's an incredible learned musician who has had vast experience in this field, playing with everybody. I was very proud when he was able to come back and give it back to the kids and teach at the school. Those are wonderful memories for me. I'll never forget. And he's one of the few guys He's one of the few guys that calls me every year. He calls me for every finals. So he's like my brother from another mother. But it's all, I love him.
Gilberto to me has always been an uncle amongst many things. And coming from a family where my father has been in and out of the picture at times, it was important for having another father figure in my life. Coming from a family that's Puerto Rican and big on the salsa music, salsa dura, and Hector Lavoe, I've always listened to that music growing up. And then actually being able to fit the pieces together with my uncle and seeing videos and pictures has just blown the cap off. To me, he's always been, like I said, a father figure and uncle. And now it's just even cooler to see him as a musician and share the stage with him at times. For that, I love him, and there's no other words that could come out that could express the relationship him and I have, and I love him to death. Tío, bendición.
Saludos a todos. Gilberto Colon Jr., my oldest and dearest friend, my compadre. I've been blessed to have you as part of my life for so many years, going back to the days when we were both young high school students and became the best of friends and had each other to learn so much about life and so much about music. And I'm so proud of what you've been able to accomplish, not only as a musician, becoming the great musician that you become, but as a father, as a husband, as a friend, as a brother. You've accomplished so many things, and you have so many people who love you and cherish the person that you are, and for good reason. And I too feel blessed to have you as an important part of my life all these years, and so happy to be able to take this time to honor you on this very special day, where they're taking time to give you a tribute that's long overdue in your honor. So continued success. Just want to say that I love you. Thank you for being there all those years in my life. Tu hermano de siempre, Oscar Hernández.
It was a gift from Ito Argenzoni and your nephew Jose Inez Adorno. Let's give them a hand. Photos of class earlier, and the program was put together by Cristina Soco, the photo montage. Let's give her a round of applause. Every now and then, folks, I hope you don't mind. My double nickel year, I'm 55 years old, I might have to refer to some notes. So. Pulpo. Let's start off with, what was your first ever musical inspiration? If you could remember far back, and what was the reason that you chose music as your devotional path?
Sure. Well, my mother is my inspiration. I didn't think I was going to be overwhelmed today.
Take your time.
My mother is the person, the most important person in my life, who taught me to respect other
microphone.
I don't want to repeat the shit. I hope Mr. Towns you forgive me, because you told me not to curse. I'm trying to my mother is, well, God first, right? God, and then my mother. My mother taught me to respect other ladies, to respect women, because you don't respect a woman, you can't be a woman. You can't value and respect self. So, in spite of the fact that my mother worked in a bar till 5 o'clock in the morning to give me the $10 that was needed to be able to take lessons with Charlie Pomeri, I was never denied anything, and I didn't grow up affluent by no means. We grew up pretty poor. But there's always someone who's worse off than you are. But my mother busted her butt in order to be able to give me anything that I asked for. The only thing she asked in return was that I study, and be the best person that I could be without any supervision. When I say no supervision, I'm not meaning that my mother was negligent to the point that CPS needs to get involved. I'm just saying that it was a different time and place. Like today, you can't even spank or reprimand a child without having the threat of CPS getting involved. I pretty much grew up under the guidance and parentship of my sister Myrna, my older sister. She pretty much became the surrogate mother. And she loved me. And to this day, I owe a lot of who I am to my sister during my mother's absence because she was at the bar. And today, I'm better off with the fact that my mother worked at a bar. I don't think I was when I was growing up. But I'm better off with it now because she did what she had to do to survive and to teach us those survival skills that are so important in order to deal with life on a daily basis with everything that's thrown your way. So I think in the grand scheme of things, music became my escape. My mother would take me with her to the bar on Fridays and Saturdays. I suspect she didn't want me to deviate and take a detour in the same path that the guys in my building and in the block were going, which was doing drugs back in the 60s. And she babied me. She treated me like one of the daughters. And I suspect that at that time I had a resentment against her because I wanted to be able to go out and hang out with the guys in the corner block. And she wielded this steel hand and said that if you did that, you ain't going to do that. And the ain't going to do that was the piano lessons. And I wanted to study and I wanted to, I don't think at that time I thought I wanted to get out of the neighborhood I was growing up in, because the reality is I like the insanity. I still do. I like the gun play, gangs, and beat them up, shoot them up, bang, bang, rock, the whole crap. It's only today that I'm approaching my 58th birthday that I realized that when I got out in 1978, I did it so that my family, my son had already been born. My son was born October 5th, 1974, and he's right in front of me. We just celebrated 37th on October 5th. And I have a daughter who just hit 16 on September 21st. And I have a wife that I got married on May 28, 1972, and I left for stupid reasons. And I swallowed my pride to ask her to take me back and tell her that I was sorry for making a mistake of leaving. And she took me back. So I had to swallow somewhere along the line, and sure, my mother wasn't always there. I don't think anybody's mother, nobody wants their mother to be there all the time. You want to be able to try to do what you got to do, but my mother exposed me to the bar, and I took coats at the check room, and she had a 4-piece combo playing in the bar, and I would see them, and I would think it was all glamorous and all this and all that, until they would use the coat room to sniff cocaine in the back. So I was about 14 years old and I saw that. But the guys on my block were doing the same and I didn't want to go down that route. At least not then. At least I was a saint. Remember this, I'm not the man I'm going to be, but definitely not the man I used to be. And I'm working at it. I'm a work in progress. I realize that I have a lot to learn. I'm not a good dad by no means. I work at it on a daily, and I spoke to my daughter the other day. I shared it with her. Why did I share it with her? Because I don't want her to continue the dysfunctional behavior that I've been exhibiting as of late. And that unto itself, awareness is a great thing. At least you know that I got things I got to work on to get better. Am I better? No. Am I grateful? Shit, crazy. I'm overwhelmed. I really am with the people in this room. I got over 100 calls with people that could not get in today. I'm not answering the phone. I went to the room to isolate. Now, is that stinking thinking? Perhaps it could be interpreted as such. Is that not realizing that there are people who maybe I thought didn't love me for whatever it's worth? Love is a real strong word. Today I realize that love means nurturing somebody's spiritual growth and not just banging them. That's where it's at for me. So it's very difficult to penetrate my circle. I don't allow many people in. And I'm guarded because I've been hurt 1,000 times. And I'm fragile. And I'm vulnerable. So music, yeah, my mother, Ramonita Perez Rosa. May God continue to bless us. You know, I don't want to ramble and I don't want to go on, and I know there's a program. And
I have a couple of more questions.
Yeah, no, I'm ready. I wanted to be able to expound a little bit because there are a lot of people in this room. In fact, most of them, I made sure I made a call to tell you I want you to be here. I didn't want nobody here to get into a third-party blast on email. And I recognize every face here. And I also work for the Department of Social Services. Last Tuesday, I made 22 years in the agency. Right? I just think I lacked the power. I left IBM to do social work, and I bet you any money, I can't guarantee because I haven't seen them yet. In this audience, I got the director of my office, Mr. Leonard Towns. I have a manager in the likeness of one Dorothy Bernanke, and I have 4 ex-supervisors, to include my current supervisor, Mrs. Sherry Generalette Toomer. I think she's here with her husband. Mr. Stephen Murphy should be here. Mr. Mario Hernandez. Miss Alice Osborne. And that might not say a lot to anybody else, but to me, you better believe it says a lot. Because I work real hard at being a good person to everybody, just not my coworkers.
Pulpo, how do I follow that? The gift of music is something that a lot of us here, right in this room, share. Either from the performance standpoint or as aficionados, listeners to the music. Bro, what has music done for you in your life that you have stuck with it for all these years?
It's allowed me to overcome barriers and obstacles that I probably couldn't have been able to superar. I wouldn't have been able to overcome if I had not been a musician. I've been privy to play for 5 presidents of the United States. That's right. I played for Queen Elizabeth in London, England. I made a tour with the Machito Orchestra in 1982 for 9.5 weeks. I've been touring with the Big 3 Palladium Orchestra, which, by the way, Lito Rodriguez Jr. is right there. I love you, Tito. I've been exposed to people that are in another situation as a social worker or even drilling the floor I might not have been privy to meet. It allows me to be open-minded, receptive, and to not hold a hair of prejudice in my body. I accept everybody for whom they are. I'm not fast to judge no one. I have to judge myself, and I always fall short.
Bravo.
Two-part question. Why the piano? And what about that name, Pulpo?
Okay, 2-part question, 2-part answer. You're making shit complicated. In high school, actually in the 9th grade in 1968, I had 2 people in my life that were very, very special. And by the way, I was floored by that montage and that video. Ito, I love you. There's no words to describe how I feel towards your person. Forget about it. And I love everybody that was involved in that. And if I stay here and I start stating names, I'll be here forever. So, suffice it to say, I entered high school and I was with 2 of my best friends in the whole wide world. I had already met a 3rd best friend. That 3rd best friend would be, let's say, older brother 1. And that is Gariel Quinones, may he rest in peace, from Guanica, Puerto Rico, a timbadero who's no longer with us, but he's here tonight in spirit. And we played together. And the other guy, some rascal who's a 2-time Grammy Award winner with the Spanish Harlem Orchestra, who's my son's godfather, Oscar Antonio Hernandez, who you saw so eloquently speaking such kind and gracious words towards my person. We played trumpet together, orchestra at Theodore Roosevelt High School in the Bronx, which I graduated in 1971, and which in 1969 I met my wife, Clara. And we played trumpet together, and in the auditorium, before the teacher would come up, everybody was restless and talking about crap and throwing chalk and blackboard. And my compadre Oscar would always be playing the Steinway piano in the auditorium by ear. He always played beautiful. He played. And my compadre Oscar is white, he's not black. Why do I say that? Because a lot of people say white people don't got no soul. That's some kind of shit. Either you got it or you don't go, you don't. Color, race notwithstanding. Nobody knows what one suffers and how they interpret it or how it emanates from oneself. That's how you can gauge who has had some type of hurt in their life. And that man played, and I said, holy, I don't want to play trumpet. It was too much of a physical, for the amateur. I wasn't game to practice anymore the way others were practicing. And then I got into a fight in the 10th grade and the guy kicked my ass. Yeah, it was a big black guy. That's right, Vance. Black like you. And he got the better of me. So I never fight to win because I don't know how to fight. But I will do whatever it takes to show you not to mess with me. Because I don't mess with nobody. If you mess with me, you deserve to get the wrath that I'm about to give you. And I will give it to you. Anybody who knows me knows that. I don't like to talk like that, but broke my armature, and after he broke my lip, it wasn't enough for it. He put his foot in my lip and broke my whole mouth. I couldn't play trumpet when I wanted to, not anymore. Done. So the guy made the choice for me. But the biggest influence in my life of playing piano se llama Oscar Antonio Hernández Blanco. My compadre. He's now living in California. Then the other guy, my older brother, Mr. Edwin Montalvo. Eddie Montalvo se ponga a play. By the way, I have his son in my band. The nepotism for sure. I have two nephews with me in my band, and one of them is Jeremy Montalvo, who's Eddie Montalvo's youngest son. Eddie Montalvo was a guy that my mother embraced much to my chagrin. I didn't like it. Because I was the only boy. When Eddie came into the picture, she shared whatever little bit of love she had to me with Eddie. So I had a major resentment against Eddie for many years, which I've had to learn how to overcome and work at keeping it in check. Because we stop talking periodically all the time, and it's not healthy for me. However, I love him, and I do know somebody told me he's in the house. And he knows that mom is here, and Eddie's dad and Eddie's mom, Carmen and Leonardo, became my parents. Unbeknownst to him, because Eddie is an only child. I don't think he would have liked it. So those are the three people that are catalysts in my being, formulating, structuralizing the person that you have on stage. But piano, Oscar Hernandez. Rhythm and melody, Mr. Eddie Montalvo. Oh, good. For my no cut de Jesus reminded me the two-part question. I told you it won't get complicated. I'm past the double nickel, so I'm in bad shape. I need a teleprompter to remind me of that. Pulpo is also a product of two people. And I have to share something with you. That's a nickname that was given to me that at first, when it was given to me, I didn't embrace, I didn't like it, and I'll tell you why I didn't like it. The first person to call me Pulpo in 1977, shortly after I got him in Hector Lavoe's band, was Eddie Montalvo. But he did it not like a term of endearment, but like to mess with me, because he knew that he could, and he knew he can. And he called me Pulpo at the end of a number where he thought that I didn't take a solo that was to his liking. So in other words, he wasn't calling me Pulpo because I was playing good. He meant it in a negative connotation. And I didn't like it, and I stopped talking to him for 2 weeks into the trip that we made to Venezuela. And we were roommates, and I was forced to speak to him. The other person who had a hand on making Pulpo stick was el maestro, el cantante de los cantantes, Don Héctor Lavoe Pérez, may he rest in peace. Because when Eddie named me Pulpo at the end of the tune in the corso, then Hector decided to continuously call me Pulpo. Now, the resentment comes from the fact that I had joined Hector's band in '75. This was 1977. I only had 2 years in the picture. I hadn't recorded that album, Comedia yet, and I wanted to sort of make a name for myself. I wanted to be known as Gilberto Colón Jr., el hijo de Gilberto Colón Acevedo. My father, who I've been longing for the longest time to be accepted by him, and it never happened. And he died in December 5th, 2001, and it's never gonna happen. But I let that go too, and so today I believe that his presence is here with me, and he's probably proud of the man that I've become. I'm gonna let it go. Otherwise, I'm not gonna go. And so again, I didn't like this Pulpo nonsense. And then at that time, the Corso was one of the club to go, the club to be seen in. If you want to dance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, don't matter what you dance. That program wasn't happening yet. You just danced, got on the floor, and used those hips. And then, when you did that, people weren't looking to see actors yet. No baila, que baila fuera de clave. The bottom line is, you dance, and you dance how your body told you to dance. It's people who feel the clave, people who feel Ito playing conga, and people who feel Tubao Maximo on bass, or better yet, Andy Gonzalez, who I'm told is in the house. Andy, I love you. You know that. Wherever you are, you Jerry Ramos. So anyway, people started calling me Pulpo and I didn't like it. And they kept on doing it because they knew I didn't like it, and it's good. Now people know that more than Gilberto Colon Jr., and I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem. I know who I am.
This man is full of stories, ain't he?
Oh, I love it.
What I'm going to have to do is have him back on Radio Libre and WBAI to do a full extended life story. Let's hear it. I would like to bring up some of the people that are making these kind of tributes possible. Angel, come back up to the stage, Mr. Ángel Tío Timbanes Rubén Rodriguez Sr. And the people from West Coast, Nancy Peterman and Terry McLean. Please come on up to the stage. And I would also like to invite Clara and the children to this show to come on up, please. Please come on up.
I just quickly want to, again, thank Hostos Center for the Arts and Culture for being our partner in this, and you know, Wally Edgecombe and his staff, Chuck Jacobs and everyone else. Nancy?
Pulpo. I feel like I'm the only one in the room who doesn't really know you. But I have to say that anybody who derives his inspiration from his mother is a man of my heart.
Mama, come on up.
I came back, just last night I came back from New Orleans, where I've been for a couple of days, and as you all know, New Orleans is a place that celebrates its musicians, celebrates its music, celebrates its musician, doesn't necessarily take care of them so well, but you know, celebrates them and believes that the identity of the city is sort of like bound up with music and the musical history and culture. I come back to the Bronx, where I've worked now for almost 25 years, and what I've learned about the Bronx is that the identity of this place is bound up, you know, with the musical history that people like you have brought, many others have brought, have made this such a vibrant, wonderful place. And I think it's our job, as Angel said earlier, to make sure that everyone, the children, the students that you've mentored, your nephews, their kids, your grandkids, people don't forget this, and that the music continues to be made. So we hope that the Bronx Music Heritage Center, which is giving you this award tonight, will be a place where the generations to come in the Bronx, you know, remember, feel inspired, understand the importance of making music and the real, you know, place that music plays in all of our lives. So I'm really honored to be with you.
Thank you. I just need to share some. This, of course, is exclusive of Ibrahim Gonzalez's interview, which, by the way, Ibrahim, I knew that I would be stuck on words, and I didn't want to, but I spoke to you before the tribute actually started to let you know just what you mean to me. And I don't need to put it out there like airing my dirty laundry. I love it, and I suspect that you know that, and if you don't, well, then I'll say it publicly, I love you. If for anything else, to put in your heart into making this tribute coming out as much as it is. Ángel Rubén Rodriguez called me sometime in July, and I remember that I was at work, and I was finishing up a case that had been assigned to me by my then supervisor, Mr. Stephen Murphy. And like Stephen wanted it like yesterday. But that's the way I work. If you need something from me, I can't do it fast enough for you. That's not healthy. That's called like that codependent enabling behavior. But that's the only thing that I know that works. So you want something done, blink and it's done. I stopped doing for me to do for others. Somewhere along the line, I'm gonna find a happy mix and a happy medium. Because if I don't, I might die of a freaking heart attack. In the interim, when he called me to tell me they were planning to do this, 3 things came into my mind. The first thing was, am I worthy of getting this type of an award, right? And then I was thinking, didn't allow me to answer that before it came up like the committee, the voices in my head get real busy. One of them said, well, you know what, there's other people in my life who are older than me, been playing a lot longer than I have, and they haven't been given this recognition. And quite frankly, I delved in that, and I marinated it, and I put my wife's sazon in the crap, and it's not a good mix because it's unhealthy for me. I start thinking that I don't deserve it, then I don't reciprocate, and I wasn't returning any of those calls in a timely manner. I start isolating at work, and I get engrossed at work. I do nothing but work, and I stay in my cubicle. It's not healthy neither. People who know me know that I'm an outgoing person. I like to share, I'm honest. Sometimes honest to a full. There's 2 types of honesty. There's a regular honesty, like saying, hey, Gordon, how you doing? I'm fine. And then there's brutal honesty. You ain't gonna tell some lady, Gordon, your kid is ugly. You're gonna lie. Oh, qué lindo. Damn, looks just like you. The reality is that's brutal honesty, and you know that's the route that I've taken my whole damn life. That's why a lot of people don't like me, and that's okay. The people that are here do, right? And you do. So let's talk about your ability. No, Angel, I love you because you put up with my crap and you persevered and you did it. The Erin Burns Maines part of the Wet Code program, I want to thank her for all of her input and help and the assistance she allowed and afforded to both myself, everybody involved, and Mr. Angel Ruben Rodriguez. Mr. Wallace Edgecombe, my boy, Wallace, I don't know where you at, but I did a concert here 2 years ago called Bonanza, and Wallace and I fought for who would be presenting Johnny Colon. I love Johnny Colon. I don't care what he said on that video behind me. He knows it. I taught at his school for 16 years. I gave him anything he wanted. I never asked for anything in return, not even money. If it came, I was blessed. And if it didn't, because I believe in my heart that Johnny Colon is a legend, and I was honored to be in his company. Johnny Colon. Not to mention that if you teach, it reaffirms what you know, so you end up learning more because your students end up being better than you. Proof of that is Mr. Victor Santos, wherever you at. Victor? Awesome pianist. Another one is Mr. Jason Diamant, wherever he's at. Slamming, he's a pianist that came after me, however, I don't tell them they play good. Keep the ace in the pocket, right? Alright, so then with that said, I want to thank my son for making me the father in 1974 when I was unprepared to be the father. I'm still working on it, but at least I'm putting it out there and taking the power out of anybody doing harm to me. And he can't say it, I said it first. I want to thank my mother, who for all these years, even when I was somewhat detoured out of the purpose in life, told me she still loved me. I want to thank my daughter, who I adopted 16 years ago and taught me what it is to be a father. My daughter. You I love very much. Tabitha Gilberto Colon Jr. La Christmas Divina. I love my daughter. Holy smokes, she's in trouble. And then my wife, I would have made 39 years had I not put on my sneakers and run. But she took me back, and when someone takes you back and you're able to apologize from the bottom of your heart after you damaged her, it says somebody's giving you a chance to do it again. yeah, I got a lot of gratitude in my attitude. And yeah, every day is not a perfect day, but however, it's a great day when it's in so bright. Not a slave anymore to the drink or the drug. I know that if I go to sleep early every day, I don't want to get up at 3 o'clock. I go to get up at 3 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday, and I go to work, and my wife thinks I have a boyfriend on the side. Not true. I can't give nobody what I ain't giving my wife, and I realize that if I can't give it to her, then it's not worth living. My wife deserves everything. The bleachers. The bleachers are where everybody is that I love with all of my heart. And you guys sitting down are in for a treat later on. I'll get to them. But I love those guys. All right, let me bring the guys one by one. I'm gonna introduce Justin Mendez, surrogate trombonist. Please come to the stage, sir. This is the youngest member of my suspect troupe. So this is how I start. I start embracing this guy. Then I'm going to go to his father, who's the leader of his own group in his own right, a friend of mine for over 40 years, el señor de Ecuador y Puerto Rico, Danny Mendez. Justin's father. I'm going to bring one of my nephews out. I got two nephews. Like I said before, nepotism doesn't come into play, but you know what? In the grand scheme of things, yes, you do. I'll bring out Jose Inez Adorno Joey, my sister Miriam, youngest son, who sings choral, just like Danny's going to do here, and plays minor percussion. Joey Adorno. All the way here from Vega Alta, Puerto Rico. Edwin. I want to bring up my other nephew, Mr. Jeremiah Montalvo from Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. Eddie Montalvo's son, Maracas and Coro. You see how the next generation gets real taller than you? Let's see, who else do I got in my group? Okay. In the Dimada, I got a guy that's a slamming musician. But when you say musicians, remember this. I'd rather have someone who's mediocre than a pain in my rear end. Any day. If you can get someone who fits the bill and plays his butt off, yet respects the concept and the overall content of the music without, like Johnny Colon said before, compromising your principles, I don't care what age you are, you got my respect. The name of this person that I'm going to bring you hails from Rochester, New York, of Puerto Rican descent. He sings, he plays all kinds of instruments. He's an awesome man, and he's got his own first CD that was just released from Rochester, New York, Daniel Decoy Antonetti. By the way, I've been studying and practicing to be more proficient in el castellano, but I'm aware that there's many people here who know me who don't speak Spanish, so because of it, I'm going to limit my Spanish speaking. But remember this, I'm 100% Puerto Riqueño, I'm a hick. I'm a hick and you'll try it. I've assimilated to the American culture because that's where I live. And I embrace the American flag and the American values in the system, but I'm from Puerto Rico. I am not a New Yorker. I'm sorry. With that said, I'm going to bring up a guy that's more patriotic than me, and that's hard to find. De Toa Baja, Puerto Rico, el señor Pedro II Lavoy Pocholo. On the trombone, to Yonkers in 1978. So 1978, I'm doing the Corso gig with Hector Lavoe. And a band that opened up for Hector Lavoe was a band called La Clave, a local band from my presently hometown of Yonkers. A bunch of guys that played their butt off, and they came in to kick Hector Lavoe in the ass. One of the trombone players, I remember looking at him and saying, damn, that guy's bad. And it was still the era where long hair was fashionable, if you will. This guy got like a red hair, red mane, feliz rojo. On trombone, that also plays piano, jazz piano, has a jazz trio, plays piano any style. I'm talking about world-class musician, Mr. Barry Olson. I'm missing two people. So we're gonna leave this. I never say that I leave the best for last because everybody here is as good as next guy. I don't put that title on nobody's too much pressure. Plus it makes somebody feel less than, and that's totally impossible in my book. I don't play that game. But these two guys are bad. So we're gonna have my conga player who plays bongos, conga, timbal, plays piano. He's his own group. A group called Our Latin Thing, which pays homage to the Pioneer All-Stars. He's my boy. He could be my son, literally, except that I only have one, and that's my son here. Marco Ito Aguinzoni from Rochester, New York, Villa Calle, Puerto Rico. Angel told me something you don't do me good, right? Angel has nothing but love for me, so because of what Angel said, I gotta say the following. Andy Gonzalez, I know you're here. Sergio Rivera, I know you're here. Jason, I know you're here. Victor Santos, I know you're here. Leonardo Jorge, my boy, is here. Trombone player from the world. I love you, Leonardo. Mikey Diaz, my compadre, the bassist, Ruben Davis here. I wanna go on and on. Juan Rodriguez. Orlando Marin, the last Mambo King. I can go on and on. And the thing is that if I do that, then the guys are gonna. So, my bassist, why I'm mentioning the bassist is because later on I'm gonna bring up Andy Gonzalez to play bass with me. Yeah. Now, why I'm bringing Andy up is twofold. Number one, he's a fellow Capricorn like me. And Andy gave me an opportunity to visit Berlin Jazz Festival in 1982, shortly after I got back with the Machito Orchestra. And they went back, and I didn't want to go back because I didn't want to be doubling up in the room with nobody. And he brought me and Eddie Montalvo and Dave Valentin on that trip, and he offered me the gig, and I so graciously turned it down to keep on going back to Colombia with Hector Lavoe. And that's to show you how stupid you are when you're thinking with your ass. Andy, please forgive me, I know Manny did. On the bass, Héctor Máximo Rodríguez de Atorrey, Puerto Rico. Angel told me I could play, right? He said, "Are you gonna play with your band?" Well, I thought about it for a minute. I have three bands. I have a couple of bands. The main band I got is called Ensalada de Pulpo, the abbreviated version because nobody wants to pay money. So it's a starving little group that play in bars. They put me up in a corner, and I play my butt off only to get no money. So I thought about it. I said, "Okay, I could do that." And then Angel kept on saying, "No, but then you gotta play." He kept on extending the amount of time I gotta play. Then a lot of people will call me and say, "Pulpo, can I play with you? Can anybody here tonight want to play with me?" You're free to do so. What I ask you is, in lieu of you and in consideration to the guys that are present on stage, let them play first. Let them shine first, because those are the guys that committed to me. Once you allow yourself to see what I got up there, anybody want to come up here, come and do it. The stage is yours. Piano playing is you. Come on and kick my these are my suspects. Yo digo que son los sospechosos míos. I love these guys. Everybody was calling me to tell me who I had in the band. No, some of these guys were not my first call. I remember this. They told me, you got a plan B? No, I don't have a plan B, I have a plan A. This is plan A because this is God's plan, not mine. Whoever said no to me, said no to himself. These are the guys that are here. Lo que necesitan es estar aquí. And I got a couple of things, by the way. I think Ray Bayona's in the house. I think Luisito Ayala's in the house. So they're going to force me to do a number with vocal. Ooh. All right. Listen, if I don't tell you guys before I leave, because the shit is deep and it's a lot of insanity and I'm nervous, I love you all for coming out, for showing me that you really love me. Even if it's superficial, it's convincing. I like it. To the guys from my fellowship, Diane, and Lydia, and my sponsor, all of my boys who are here, my family, the first row, I love you too, brother, but I ain't getting married, I got one wife. Anyway, we're gonna play. So I think about now, oh, by the way, another supervisor was here, Mr. Dominic Sacchetti. 22 years ago, he guided me through life and I was going through some real difficult troubles. I love you, Dominic. Mr. and Mrs. Sacchetti, congratulations, man. Okay, so I'm gonna play for you. I don't have a set list. I didn't want one. The sound check, they forced me to give them one. So I gave them whatever I felt like giving them. Don't mean I'm gonna play this too. I didn't want nobody to know what I was playing because even I don't know. When God's in charge, I'm a passenger, he's the chauffeur.
Vamos a decir, ladies and gentlemen, Gilberto Jr. El Pulpo.
Very important. And I don't like to get locked up into dedicating to anybody because I really dedicate this show to everybody who's here today. And even those people who are unable to get in and couldn't come in, I dedicate it to them because at least they made a sincere and concerted effort to show their support thereof on my person. But I'm dedicating this concert to the memory of a person who showed me the right path musically. El Maestro, Don Jose Luis Pérez, may you rest in peace.
Thank you.
Gilberto. Let's have a round of applause for my timbalero from Boston, New York. Detroit and Connecticut. That number is from my next CD. Everybody's been asking me, you record? That's my next CD, and I already recorded it. Cool. I have a CD that I want to make mention of. It was recorded January 8th and 9th, I believe, of 2008, 3 years ago. It was the foresight and the mental brainchild of a producer friend of mine. When I say friend of mine, you know, people sort of say, you know what, is he your contemporary? Is he your age? You learn that not everybody has to be your age to respect what they know. People younger than you know more than you. It's just, do you accept it or not? I ain't got no problem today, but today I'm aware that I don't know it all. Mr. Christian Soto, who I would like to sitting down to get the old way back. Certain things don't change. I didn't say I stopped drinking drugs, okay, I'm gonna stop cursing. I work on that next. But Christian Soto certainly saw that I needed to be recorded, and he gave me the opportunity. And that album, or that CD, won 2009 Best CD of the Year in that genre. So I'm going to be grateful to God and Eucharist and Dad. And this next tune, it was from that CD. It's number 1 on the CD because my daughter obviously knows the playlist better than I do. She has them on iTunes. She knows she can recite number 4 is this. Well, I don't know it because I lived it. I got to the point that I hated the shit. I was in the studio with Chris. He blocked out the time so we could save some money. I was pissed. But anyway, we got it done. And this next tune, I'm going to give you my version of the tune on the CD.
course, it didn't sound, the first CD didn't sound that good, but you learn from mistakes. Today I got better vision. You get better one day at a time. In hindsight, anybody could be a Monday morning quarterback. After the fact, anybody can make a judgment call. But that's what it sounds like today because the insanity in my life has gotten a lot better. And that's what I probably heard in the studio. And Chris said, no go. That's why you gotta produce the album by yourself to make all your choices. But with that said, I want to give a round of applause to Marco Ito Argusoni written and composed by Eddie Palmieri. That's my arrangement. It's my tribute to Gilberto del Piano. I'm going to play a ballad. Why do I play ballads? Well, there was a time when I tried to get away from Latin music, and the reason why I tried to get away was because they said people, places, and things, stay away from that, because every time you go there, you relapse. So I try to play piano in lounges. The worst and the stupidest Latin scene. I found that out. I couldn't even put one day together. But the reality is, that's where I learned how to get in touch with my feelings. And if you could put your feelings through so people feel what you feel, that's what music's all about. Because if you could bring happiness to somebody, happiness today is what's known as an inside job. You could look good on the outside and be a little crappy inside. You gotta be happy with yourself, and you gotta be comfortable in your own skin, and you have to have acceptance to accept who you are. However short you fall, it'll be better tomorrow. This too shall pass. That number is dedicated to my brother Eddie Montalvo. Tune written by Benny Goldman and tribute to Clifford Brown when he died prematurely in a car accident. I didn't play it right because I was nervous, but I know the message you got across. I would like to bring to the stage the following people. el señor Bernardo Jorge de Santurce, de San Pedro. De Ecuador, el señor Juan Reinaldo Balona Villola, Rey Balona, come down. Luisito Ayala, if you're in the house, come down. Ray, come down. If you don't come down, I'm going to do another number. Come on. Ray, ¿dónde tú estás? Baja, coño.
Caballeros, ¿cómo estamos ustedes? Good evening. Mi nombre es Rey Bayona y me siento bien contento de compartir esta noche con todos ustedes en este homenaje justo que se le hace al maestro Gilberto Colón Jr., el Pulpo. Espero que este no sea el único y siga continuando para el resto de los maestros, escuelas de nosotros. Y yo no tengo palabras para explicarle lo contento que me siento.
Tiene que hacerte una limpieza.
Gilberto Colón Jr., the people, today was tonight, today was the day. And again, what a fantastic night. Thank you for coming out. I just want to quickly say that, the Bronx Music Heritage Center, in collaboration with Hostos Community College, and a bunch of people made this happen tonight, including family, friends, acquaintances, associates, and all these other people. But again, we want to thank you for coming out, and let's just give them one big cheer, one big
I just want to say these few parting words. If anybody understands what the word humility means, to be humble, to really be floored, not so much by being overwhelmed, as such as having people that you touch you first, because I don't touch unless you touch me. So everybody's love and the warmth that I feel in the room today obviously speaks volumes about what you feel about me. Because I have a saying, what you think about me is none of my business. But I have a lot of gratitude to everybody who's joined me on stage, both the nucleus and the suspects that came in after the fact. And my wife wants me to remind you guys, we're selling CDs outside. We needed to be able to pay the mortgage. If you buy it, I'll sign it. And they will be outside. If you never have to see you already, we'll sell you one. John Henry Robinson III, I love you. I thank everybody. Obviously, I'm going to go and change my bra and panties in the back, and I'll be out shortly. So if you want to hang around, we'll hang out together.
Thank you, Gilberto Colón Jr.
I want everybody to listen tomorrow from 2 to 4, WBAI 99.5. This is the kind of music we promote at the station on Sunday afternoons. Tune in tomorrow. There'll be more pulpo, there'll be more Dios Timbales, and the music that you love to listen to. Good night, people.
And like they used to say in Rio, Puerto Rico, calabaza, calabaza, todo el mundo para su casa. Gracias. You don't gotta go home, but you gotta get out of here, right? Thank you, people. Thank you so much. If you wanna get together with Gilberto, we'll be outside in a few minutes. Thank you so much. Please buy a CD.
Victor!